Sometimes in tennis, you play somebody who's just plain stronger than you. They hit stronger shots, they're better athletes, whatever it happens to be. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things that you can't do to make it as close as possible or even have a chance of winning against that stronger player. In this lesson, I'm going to show you what those things are, give you some mindset keys, as well as really practical strategy elements that you can use the very next time you play a stronger player. If that sounds exciting, do me a favor and click the like button, and let's dive right into it. First, some very quick mindset keys, some things to keep in mind that are critical, some perspective elements. Number one, most points end with somebody making a mistake. All levels of tennis, beginner all the way on up to professional, doesn't matter where you fall, most points end with somebody making an error. So being mindful of that, a lot of times it can be overwhelming playing somebody who's clearly stronger than you. It seems like they're just crushing you and hitting winner after winner. The reality is there are opportunities in those errors if you pay close attention. Number two, most points are shorts. And this, again, from beginner all the way up to professional. And I know you're probably saying to yourself on the other end of your screen, oh, Ian, you haven't seen my matches. All the shots are so slow and the rallies are 20, 30, 40 shots in a row. I promise you, if you record yourself, watch your points, and then chart those points by how many points lasted one shot, that's the serve and nothing else, two shots, serve, and then the return and nothing else, those would make up the largest percentage of your points, not the super long ones. We remember the super long ones because they're dramatic and exciting. Those are the ones that stick with us when we walk back out to the parking lot. But the reality is that most points don't last very long in tennis at all levels. Number three, there are momentum shifts, even if they're small, in every match. And even if the match is lopsided, there are little ebbs and flows of focus, of concentration, and therefore of momentum, where if you can be mindful of those shifts and capitalize when they happen, you can grab the upper hand and cause your opponent to doubt themselves. And if that happens just for even a couple of games, things can flip if you know how to take advantage of it. And then finally, those openings are super critical. If you can, again, get your opponent to doubt themselves for even just a moment, get them to second guess themselves, maybe cause them to make a couple of errors in a row, the snowball can start to grow. And even if they're a stronger player than you, you never know when things might completely shift. So those are four big mindset keys against stronger players than you. Now let's go to some real life point examples, and I'm going to break down 3 strategies to keep in mind. Strategy key number 1 against a stronger opponent is just make them hit their weaker shot as much as humanly possible. Now, a lot of times against a stronger player than you, it might seem like they don't really have a weakness, but that's completely false. Even if somebody is 2-3 levels above you, I promise you they have a shot that they prefer, and they have a shot that they'd rather not hit as often. This is a point example of me versus Sean. I played Sean several months ago when I was just starting to get back into playing a little bit, and Sean started off the match. Watch this, the very first point. He'd been watching my videos, watching my working on my backhand. He knew explicitly that my backhand was much weaker. I didn't want to hit backhands. And so the very first point of the match, he pins me into my backhand corner and makes it very clear that even though there's open court over here, he's just going to keep on hitting me backhands, keep on hitting me backhands. And honestly, I feel like if he had stuck to that and been a little bit more diligent in following through on it, the match may have gone very differently. Sean, by the way, kind of entry-level 4-5 player, strong 4-0 player. And as the match wore on, there were more and more opportunities where here's this first shot. It's a good example of him targeting my backhand. But then he just kind of hits a nothing shot to my forehand when he could have kept it to my backhand side. And now we're in a pattern that I want before he changes direction. So, okay, he still won the point. He changed direction, but he had to incur some extra risk in order to do that, where early on in the point, he could have just simply, after serving to my backhand and after hitting this first shot to my backhand, what does he have to gain here? Another example where, yes, I'm a little bit further over to this side of the court, but him knowing that I can't really hurt him with my backhand. And when you watch the match, I'll link to all the matches I'm going to feature in this video in the first comment down below. But when you watch the match, you'll see I don't think I hurt him with hardly a single backhand. My forehand, I was dictating points. So yeah, there's a little bit of open court here. But I'm sure Sean, in hindsight, and maybe he'll say in the comments down below, I also happen to love to scramble. I love to run around and chase down balls. So the fact that he just kind of hits an okay shot to the open court, which then sets me up for my forehand to his backhand, that type of shift of pattern happened all the time once the match got rolling, and it allowed me to dictate play. So further on later in the match, see another point here where it just doesn't make sense for Sean to hit me any forehands at all, not off the serve. And then here, he had an opportunity to hit cross court to my backhand. There, an opportunity, and he just kind of hits general shots. His intentionality about targeting my backhand side decreased, and as it decreased and he stopped putting the pressure on that side, I gained confidence, I gained momentum, and then that momentum snowballed, and all of a sudden Sean was just kind of way behind in the match. So against a stronger player, look for their weaker side and force them to beat you with their weaker side. If you can just do that, you'll give yourself a good shot to grab some momentum in the match. If you'd like more strategy insights that you can use for your tennis matches, make sure to pick up free access to Essential Tennis Academy by going to essentialtennisacademy.com. These are all modules, 3 pages of these that are full of videos covering different topics, and 2 of these are Single Strategy Playbook and Single Strategy Fundamentals. No matter what part of your game you want to improve, you'll find it here inside of Academy. Just go to essentialtennisacademy.com. The second way you can have a chance of winning against a stronger player is just be consistent, pick high margin shots, and just hustle. Just bust your butt and get as many shots as possible back. This is my match against Ira. Ira, strong 4-5 player, and in this match he really rolled over me and really dictated play really nicely. This is actually the first game in the match. He is serving, and I just want you to watch how these points end. As I'm blocking returns back in play, scrambling. He told me later on he just thought I just wasn't even going to run for that shot. He ended up missing. And so I'm not doing anything fancy or special in this game. I'm just putting the ball in play. And that was my strategy from the beginning with Ira, was put the ball in play and just see what happens. I was trying to just find some rhythm, find some timing as I was just working on coming back and playing some more points. This match actually happened before Sean, if I remember correctly. This was the first match I played coming back and trying to play some more points again after years of not competing. So I wasn't trying to do anything fancy, but just put the ball in play. And Ira ended up beating himself in this first game to give me an early break in the match. So you never know. Like, the moral of the story, remember, going back to the mindset keys, most points end with an error. Most points are short. So if you put a premium on serves, first serves in particular, and returns of serve, and just against somebody who you know is stronger, just target the middle of the court. Make sure you put the ball in play with lots of room for error, lots of margin for error. You never know what might happen. Now, Ira was, I think, a little shaky here. Got off to a rocky start. He ended up finding his momentum and ended up finding his comfort zone. Sometimes that won't happen. Sometimes if you just keep busting your butt, you keep hustling, you keep playing safe shots, and it might not even be your style of play, like to be a shot tolerance type of player. But against a stronger opponent, give it a shot. Just try it for a game or two. See if you can't turn things around, give them something to think about, and shift things in your favor. The third way you can try to beat somebody who's a stronger player than you is change the rhythm of the points completely. Change the tempo. Flip the script on your opponent. This is my match play against Mark, who's a much stronger player than me as of this moment, and he's working hard to keep it that way as I try to come back. Shout out to Mark. And in this match, he won the first set 6-1, and during the full first set, I was trying to battle it out with him on the baseline. And I made the decision. We'll play the clip for you right now. What the heck? Let's go for it. I'm just gonna go serve volley. Both serves, chip and charge. Talk to you again in 2 games. We'll see what happens. So as you can hear, like, my goal was, okay, this is not working. I need to try something completely different. So heading into the second set, I decided to just go all in on rushing the net. Up until this point, I was trying to hang with him on the baseline. Now I'm coming in behind every serve. And this is the full service game after I made that comment to the camera. So when you watch this service game, see Mark trying to lob me, he tries to pass me, he makes some errors. I hit a couple of good volleys, but But mainly, like, I just kind of rolled over him in this game because everything completely changed. Instead of the tempo or the rhythm of ground stroke to ground stroke, all of a sudden I rush in immediately, rush him in, throughout, in the process, and force him to have to try to do different things. And after this game, throughout the rest of this second set, I went pretty all in on shipping and charging as well, and had some success there too. Now, I didn't win the match, but I won more games in the second set. It was 5-2 when I busted up my foot. And so I actually had broken him at that point. I don't think even had a break point up until that spot in the match as I was trying to beat him from the baseline. So something to keep in mind here, with all of these ideas, there's never any guarantee that you take control of the match. There's never any guarantee that you end up coming back and winning. What you can do is give yourself the best possible chance to disrupt your opponent, make them a little bit uncomfortable, and give yourself some opening. Give yourself some little piece of momentum to work with. If you just keep going down the same old path, the way your opponent is beating you, they're probably going to maintain control of the match. So I hope all these ideas were helpful. If they were, do me a favor and click the like button. Helps these videos out a lot, so if you appreciate them, just click the like button. Thank you. It really supports the channel a lot. And let me know what comments or questions you might have down below. What other ideas have worked for you when you play against somebody who's clearly a stronger player than you are? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.